Hi everyone! Welcome to Comfy Cozy Crochet with Tris. I am Tris and I'm back! It's been quite some time. I've had a really hard time getting back into the swing of things, crochet-wise and YouTube-wise, since vacation a few weeks ago, and there's just been things galore going on in our personal lives right now that I'll probably talk to you about in various videos coming up, but it's just been a madhouse. We've had birthdays happening, we've had vacation, we had Easter, we've just had all kinds of things going on, and it's just been crazy. But what better way to come back with a bang than to do the 10 Yarny Things tag video that Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet originally created. What fun. Lisa over at LadybirD Loves went ahead and tagged me last week, I believe, and I was so excited, and she told me in one of her lives that she had done it, and so couldn't wait to get on here, but it did take me a little bit of time to jump on and make a video because, like I said, things have just been hectic to say the very least. But I'm here, I'm alive, you guys. And also Carrie, Penny from Happy Crafty Homemaker also tagged me today. So I said, okay, I've got to get on here and do this for these ladies. And I've been really enjoying the couple that I've seen. I haven't been able to watch as much YouTube as I normally do lately either, but this has been something that I have seen, like Debbie from the Canadian Crocheter do one and things like that too. So I'm going to go ahead and answer the 10 questions, and then I will take a few people at the end here, and hopefully I'm not tagging people who have already been tagged. If you have, I apologize, but I don't think the people that I've picked out have done one yet anyway. So here we go. So this is 10 questions about yarn. Number 1, what is your favorite color of yarn? That is really difficult for me. I think, like a lot of people, I tend to be in a color mood. So I'm really into this color, and then I'm really into this color. But that being said, my favorite colors don't change all that much. And I tend to go for really beachy colors. So any of the blues to greens, aquas, turquoise, teals, that color range always really speaks to me. And then I love anything that's like apricot or peachy, anything that kind of screams sunset to you. That's probably going to be in my shelf. But my husband was kind of laughing at me the other day because I went and bought some yarn for a top that I will be making eventually. And it was this really pretty kind of like lavendery color. Can you see that? So I thought this was just so pretty. I was really excited, and I was like, you're never gonna guess what color I picked for my top. Of all the color ranges they had at Hobby Lobby, guess what I picked? And he goes, purple. And I mean, like, my tongue almost fell out of my mouth. I could not believe that he picked purple out of everything, because I never pick purple. Purple is not like blues, greens, aquas, peaches. Purple is like not a go-to for me. And then I realized I had just recently bought a tumbler that was purple, and I bought like several things that were this exact shade of purple within like a week. And he goes, babe, everything you've bought is purple. And I just laughed because I'm like, you're paying a lot more attention than I am. That was a totally subconscious thing. So I must be in a purple mood lately. But normally I would say aquas, peaches. Can we get more long-winded? Question number 2, what is your favorite weight of yarn? I'm going to say a number 4. I really like your medium worsted weight number 4 yarns. They're just right down the middle, super easy to work with. You know, they're not bulky, they don't make my hands hurt, but you really feel like you're getting a lot of progress as well. That being said, I really like a Lion Brand cupcake or a Lion Brand mandala. So a number 3, in fact, when I was pregnant with Grant, I used a lot of the baby yarns like Bernat Softy Baby. Loved that one. It's a number 3. So I would say between a 3 and 4, but if I can find a really nice 4-weight yarn, I'm going to pick that over the really nice 3-weight yarn usually, just because it works out quicker. But if you're going to do like scarves and shawls and garments and stuff, like sometimes the 3s drape nicer. I don't know. Am I making any sense? I don't know. You tell me. Tell me. What is your favorite? All right, number 3. What is your favorite style of yarn? I really don't have a favorite style of yarn. I have styles of yarns that I dislike. Can I say sparkle? If I can say sparkle yarn, that's my favorite style of yarn. Anything with a metallic streamer running through it, anything that's got some glitz or sparkle or sequins or something like that. Does that count as a style? If that counts as a style, then that's what I want my answer to be. Otherwise, I really just don't have one. I like a roving yarn here and there. I will admit to cutting out the really huge, crazy big blobs that make your stitch definition wonky and make you think like, it just looks like you made a mistake, in my opinion. Or like I made a mistake. I am not a fan of novelty yarns. Not really a huge fan of novelty yarns. So, yeah, I'm gonna say anything sparkly or glittery, but I don't think that's really what the question was trying to get at here, but we're gonna cheat. Number 4, what is your favorite fiber of yarn? And I am going to say acrylic. And the reason is I don't have very much experience with anything else. I have worked with one yarn, the Caron and Pantone blend that had some tinsel in it. That was really, really nice. It was a blend. I also really enjoy working with a Caron cake that's an acrylic wool blend. So I'm gonna say acrylic blends. And when I say acrylic, I mean really a nice acrylic. More of the premium type acrylics are my favorite to work with. That being said, I'm super excited to eventually branch out and start working with some of the other like cellulose fibers and, you know, from the earth type fibers. I just don't have very much experience. I'm a fairly new crocheter. I've only been, you know, working with yarn for about the last 4 years. And so I'm really just trying to get my wits about me a little bit, and I am learning every day about different fibers and contents, and I am really excited to branch out. But as of now, I have to just be super honest and say acrylic blends are where it's at for me right now. Number 5, what is your favorite brand that you can easily get within your country? I'm gonna say on the whole, it's gonna be Lion brand. I have gotten to try several different varieties that they have, and they are the brand that I feel is the most consistent that I've worked with. I think that probably Premier is probably a close second. I just haven't gotten to work with it very much. Our local big box stores around here don't carry much of it at all. And I just recently got a decent amount of some of it, but I haven't been able to work with it yet. Also, I really like Hobby Lobby yarn. So if you can count like the I love this yarn, I love this cotton, or any of the Yarn Bee stuff that they have. I actually really enjoy the Hobby Lobby stuff. So either Lion brand or Hobby Lobby, but that being said, I don't get to Hobby Lobby quite as often. It's a little bit farther from me than the Joann's, and I have Joann's right at my fingertips with Lion brand more often. Number 6, what is your favorite brand that isn't easy to get within your country? Oh boy. I guess maybe I'm gonna say Paintbox or Stylecraft. I simply haven't gotten to branch out into a lot of that yet because they are, I believe, UK brands, and I definitely have ordered from Love Crafts before, and I know that they do have a US warehouse now and you can get it fairly easily. I actually haven't worked with it yet, however, but it feels so soft. The wide array of colors just, in my opinion, makes it unbeatable for the price. But I know that they have a lot of other, like, there's the paint box, paint pots or whatever, the chunky and variegated yarns and all kinds of stuff with Stylecraft too that I haven't even gotten to try. Some of that is simply because you can't put your hands on it. And I don't know if I'll like it or not, and I don't want to risk placing an order, so I just haven't. So I'm going to go with those. I know there are probably a million other answers out there, but that's all I can think of at the moment. Because again, I'm just starting to get my feet wet with some of the out-of-the-box yarns, some of your local yarn store yarns and more boutique-y yarns I'm just not familiar with. And I hope that once the different stitch cons and yarn conventions and stuff come back after COVID, hopefully I'll be able to go to some of those and become more familiar with some of the different local or indie brands and different fiber contents, things like that. I'm really excited to educate myself. Number 7, favorite yarn store online and favorite brick and mortar. My favorite yarn store online is probably going to be Hirschner's. I really like their variety. I like that they send a catalog. My husband doesn't like that they send a catalog. Grant actually really likes that they send a catalog too. He loves flipping through the pages, and it's great practice for a baby because if it rips those like really thin pages, like it's not the end of the world. So it's a great practice for like the older books so that he's not tearing those pages. I'm such a mom. Anyway, I think Hirschner's, for the most part, from what I've seen, has great customer service. When I have had to contact them, they have come through lickety-split, no problem. Super, super nice to work with on the phone. The shipping is always really quick. They usually have great sales and deals that go on. And I like the variety that they sell. So it makes it easy to pick and choose and, you know, start to look into Premier and some of the other ones that aren't sold at my local Michael's and Joann's. It makes it easier to do that. So I'm going to say Hirschner's for online. And for brick and mortar, I am going to say Joann's. It would be a toss-up between Joann's and Hobby Lobby. I'm going to say Joann's because they are just 5 minutes from my home, really, really easy to get to. And we have pretty decent customer service at my local Joann's. Our local Michael's is teeny tiny. I have only had good customer service once, ever, at the local Michael's here, which is a really, really sad day there. And they have almost no variety. I mean, yarn is not their big go-to. They don't really pay any attention to it. They don't treat it very nicely. And they don't care about their yarn customers. If you ask them, do you know if you're going to be getting in X, Y, or Z, or do you know where this is? They're just like, no. Do you have any other questions? You know, like they're just not nice. And so that's nothing to be said for other Michaels, just my local one is not great. And my local Joann's is a fairly small store, but they're very sweet. They will go out of their way to accommodate you. Very, very nice. And the local Hobby Lobby is great too. They're just a little bit further. And so I don't frequent them as much as I do the local Joann's. Number 8, do you keep your scrap yarn? If so, what do you do with it? The answer is yes. And up until now, I have done very little with it. I haven't accumulated very much of it either, being fairly new to the craft. But I will say that I have, usually I started out making mostly blankets. And so I would keep it, like leftover yarn, not little scraps, but leftover skeins that were, you know, only a quarter left or something like that, and I would keep the yarn band with them, and I would just kind of shop from my stash, and I would go, okay, I want to use that color again, go to Joann's and buy another skein or two of that, plus whatever else I have in my stash. So I would do that with it, and then now I'm starting to do the Warm Up America. I slipped my mind for just a second there. The Warm Up America, they will take the rectangles that you can send in for charity, and they will put together blankets for whatever size is needed for whatever big crisis is going on at the time, or whatever charities need them the most. So they're a wonderful thing, and you can go back to my past videos where I have talked about Warm Up America and what I have donated to them thus far. I will be, for kind of the rest of the year, as time allows and as scraps become available, whip up a few rectangles and set them over to the side. And then when I have a decent, box, I can go ahead and ship them off to them. So that's what I am doing with my scraps right now. I know a lot of people do scrappy projects. I am really, really anal retentive about what colors go with what. I appreciate other people's scrappy projects, but they drive me bananas personally for me. I'm like, that orange does not go with that pink, and that blue does not go, the aqua does not go with the olive, and I just never works out very well for me. I always admire like Carrie Penny from Happy Crafty Homemaker. She's always got these scrap projects that work so well together, and she kind of laughed one time and said, well, it's because I always gravitate towards the same like 3 color schemes, and so they all kind of go together. And I was like, I really like that. I feel like eventually, I do too, and eventually I could maybe make a really fun scrap project, but right now they just don't go. There's like random Christmas yarn with the beachy colors that I've done, and it just doesn't go. So I really like doing the scrappy squares though to send off for charity. I think that's awesome, because they can put together the ones that do go together. You know what I'm saying? All right. Number 9, what is your favorite thing to crochet or knit? I crochet. I do not knit yet, and that's really hard. I feel like I go through crochet color moods. I go through crochet item moods. I love a good blanket. I love to just work on a crocheted blanket and just kind of keep coming back to the same repetitive thing, whether that's squares or whether it's different rows. You just always kind of know what you're doing, and you can zen out and just watch TV, and that can be your just chill out project. But I also really have gotten into making hats. I really enjoy making hats. I don't do it very often, but I probably get the most joy out of that. And scarves and cowls as well, because they're just quick, easy, really, really, they make you feel so productive to just get one out in a day or two. Lisa had mentioned that in hers too, where she said, I love to make baby booties and mittens. I can crank out a set in a day and I can just feel so accomplished. Girl, I hear you. Same way, probably because I normally do make big old blankets. And then when I get to make a hat or something, I'm like, look at, I got that done in a day. What? So I'm probably getting the most into cowls and scarves. That's probably one of my big go-to, especially getting out of a slump. Or in between projects, I love to make a scarf or a hat or something small like that. But I love to crochet blankets. All right. I don't think I did a very good job of answering that. I'm sorry. I'm very wishy-washy today. Number 10, if you could crochet or knit one last thing for the rest of your life, what would it be, and what yarn would you use? I have heard lots of people answer this question very differently. If you can crochet one item, one type of item for the rest of your life, what would it be, excuse me. I would say cowls and scarves. That's what I would go for. If I could just do one type of thing for the rest of my life, I feel like I could do that for men or women or kids. It could be infinity, it could be keyhole, it could be, a super scarf or something. Like, there's more variety, I feel like, with that. If it has to be one single item for the rest of my life that I'm just never ending crocheting on, I'm gonna say a blanket, because that can just go and go and go and go forever, and it can be a big old like king size, or even a really drapey king size that would brush the floor. That would take me a long time, and I could just really, really treasure that. And maybe I would even make it into like a stitch sampler to where it was like, you know, this much of this stitch and I needed to learn a new stitch for it, and then this much of a next stitch, so that it could be something really prized and kind of an heirloom piece, and something that wasn't so monotonous. Because if you were working on the same thing for the rest of your life, you might go, I'm really tired of working on this. I don't like the waffle stitch anymore, or the basket weave, or what have you. So, and what yarn would I use? What yarn would I use? Probably something really fun like paint box yarns or Stylecraft, Aran, because I love the color combinations that you can do. They have such a wide variety of colors, and it's a really soft, nice acrylic, but it's something that you can wash easily. You don't have to worry about allergens. So I think that's what I would go for, because you'd be kind of hard pressed to find a color that they didn't make in either paint box or Stylecraft. They have a lot. And I've found like what they don't have in Stylecraft, like Aran, they have in paint box Simply Aran, and vice versa, and they're pretty easy to do together in one project. I think that's what I would do. And that way you're never going to run out of the color you need, and they're soft, squishy acrylics that are easily washed and worn, right? So there are the answers to my 10 questions. Hopefully you guys found that of any interest at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and tag 4 people of my own that I would love to hear your guys' answers. So first I'm going to tag Chelle from Chelle Crochet. I will leave her down below, dying to know what her answers are. Brenda from Brenda the Newbie Crocheter. Also, I will have her linked below. Veronica from Steals the Show Crochet and Chefs. I can't say that. Let's try that again. Veronica from Steals the Show Crochet and Chefs, linked below. And how about Sharon from the Stitch Foundry? She's the one that I did that beautiful shawl from one of her patterns. So Sharon, what would you do? There's 4. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Lisa and to Carrie for shouting me out. If you guys have not seen their channels before, again, they will be linked down below. Please check them out. Tell them I said hi. They're wonderful, wonderful ladies, as are the ladies I tagged as well. And I'm so happy to be included. Thank you, Crystal, for doing such a wonderfully fun yarn tag. I think we all could use something like this right about now. So hope you guys are having a great day, night, week, weekend, whenever you're watching this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.